Welcome to the Databricks Skill Builder series. We're glad you're here.
What is ABAC? Attribute-based access control. We're going to be covering, obviously what it is, why it matters, some use cases and scenarios and different ways that it can be leveraged from a governance and security perspective, especially around PII, PCI, and PHI. ABAC access control, right? It's conditional based properties that that allows access to either allows or doesn't allow access to sensitive data, right? So it allows you to tag attributes or columns of a table. You can create a policy for either masking or hiding that particular data, and it does not interrupt I want to say interrupt, but it basically doesn't change the query patterns or the structure of the data. It just obfuscates the data that's a particular user can see. So you have a couple different options. You can either mask it or you can hide the particular row. So how does it work? So the first step is you want to define a tag, right? Who has permissions to use those particular tags and who can change or edit those policies associated with those tags. So now we do have governed tags in public preview. This allows, system tags, prevents tag sprawl, just allows a cohesive way to manage tags across the entire data platform, right? So things of like social security number, dates of birth, maybe if it's PHI related data, things of that nature, address information, email, phone numbers. So data classification, right? We have the ability to automate how, tags can be discovered. We have auto classification, which I'll be demoing later. So it can automatically detect PII using our agentic AI system. So it'll either try and resolve by name or resolve by a sample set of data within that particular table. It'll scan new or any changes in that table to ensure that auto classification picks that stuff up magically, as I like to say. And then we have audit readiness, right? So it logs everything, the logging tables and system tables, and then you have the ability to kind of look at those audit logs. So once you have classified your data and you've applied tags to columns or attributes of that data, now you can create a ABAC policy. And a policy is nothing more than a rule that dictates, a user's access. So whether that is masking, or hiding the table row, or just preventing access to that data set altogether. So today we allow, like I mentioned before, column masking and row filtering, and then the policies can be attached to the catalog or schema, and all the tables within those catalogs or schemas will inherit those policies. You can also do masking policies at the individual column or table level. Overriding or not overriding, but instead of doing inheritance, but it's a little bit more of a manual process. So if we put it all together, right, we want to mask columns that contain PII, right? Data classification automatically finds that PII data. It'll apply the governed tags. Then ABAC will apply governance policies to those tags, such as in this case, it's PII. And then what you'll see here is a clear separation of responsibilities. One of the big use cases that resonates with our customers is things pertaining to like contractors. So a lot of our customers will use staff log or SIs to do data engineering work, and they don't want their contractors to be able to see sensitive data, but they also don't want to have the laborious process of trying to create subsets of data or synthetic data. So creating masking or ABAC policies helps reduce the friction associated with hiding the sensitive data from contractors doing development work or support work. So I'm going to go into a brief demo, show you what it kind of looks like. So here I have my Grumpy Panda catalog and our manufacturing demo. And what you'll see here is I have an employee table. I've already turned on auto classification at the catalog level. And the initial scanning of auto classification takes, I think, 10, 15 minutes to come back with results. So I've pre-run it for the sake of time and speed of this demo. So backing up, it'll come up. Give it a second. It's automatically detected within my catalog: name, phone number, email address, date of birth, location, and social security number. As you can see here, some of them are 100% unmasked. And then what I've done is I've taken the liberty of masking both the date of birth and social security number in this particular employee table. Well, if I click on the one table, you'll see which table that it actually applies to. So it's, um, oops. Yeah, so it's the employees table under the manufacturing demo. So if I go back to the catalog and look at my employees table, you can see how the tags are applied to social security number, date of birth. We have masking policies applied. And if we click on those, and if we go to look at those policies individually, it's applied to all account users. So you can click on it. It says, hey, applied to all account users. You have the ability to do an accept. So for right now, I want to say, hey, apply to everybody, including myself. If I want to see the data, I can say except for admins, or you can choose yourself. We scroll down. We're saying, hey, this policy is going to apply to any column that has been tagged with U.S. Social Security number, and we've have an existing policy here that's been created. It says mask Social Security number, and all it's going to do is replace the values with asterisks. On the date of birth one, what I've done is, hey, it's the same thing. We're applying to all county users. We're saying, hey, it's all tables within scope. In this case, it's at the catalog level. So anything that's below the catalog level that has date of birth, this masking policy is going to apply. In this case, what I'm doing is I'm defaulting everything to the year 1600. So I want to be able to see maybe the month and the day, but I don't want to know the year that person was born. So I've obfuscated it, or kind of abstracted the year. So if we go back to the policies, or go back to the table, then I want to view the data. So even if you do sample data, let me hide what you can see here is social security number has been masked with columns. All the dates of birth within this table have been changed to 1600. So we have the month and the day that they were born. And if I want to say, well, I should be able to see the social security number because maybe I'm doing payroll or taxes, I don't know, make up your reason. I can add myself for the quick, hit the update policy button, and then it will take a couple seconds for it to come through. So if you don't see the unmasked values right away, you just give it a little bit of time. And there you go. I just refreshed the catalog and said, no, I'm able to see the social security number. This is really cool because it applies to Genie Spaces as well. And it actually applies to anybody that's accessing this employee table. So I created a simple Genie space referencing this table, and I wanted to stress test it. So I said, what employees were born on a leap year? And it'll do its thinking, and if you going back, if you remember, I don't have access. I only had access to see the social security number, but looking at the sample data is kind of a quick test. Everything is still 1600. So I don't have the ability to see the birth year of those employees. So give it a moment. It gave me the two folks. Now, if I wanted to say, well, what employees were, born between, say 2004 and, it's a little young, so let's say 1995 and 2003. The right answer should be it doesn't know, because everything's been defaulted to 1600. So it says no employees were born between 95 and 2003. It knows that it's everything 1600. So with all 2000 employees having that, it appears to be a synthetic placeholder rather than realistic birth dates. So the ABAC policies are enforced whether it's at the SQL level, using DB SQL, the Genie level, which uses DB SQL below it, the notebook level, or if you want to use the Genie Conversational API, it'll be enforced as well there. So with that being said, that is the end of my demo.